I don't know if what I'm about to say is factually accurate, but it's in the realm of accuracy. And it makes me so happy to say this and to be able to
Okay.
talk about this. Not that I whatever. Microsoft announced yesterday that they are building a fourth, number one, two, three, fourth team app that will
Wait,
become,
what?
just follow me.
Wait,
This
I'm
is why
sorry.
I'm not sure if it's completely accurate because it could be a 3.5 or whatever.
Oh, yeah.
But in their Canary build yesterday, they're shipping a new Teams app that combines the old Teams apps into this new Teams experience that is not going to be backwards compatible, I believe, to existing stuff, at least not yet. So you got to be on 24H2 to be able to get this new. So it's Teams app new, and then an exponents or whatever hyperscript new,
Yeah.
and then you'll have one Teams app to rule them all.
So Microsoft quietly updated their Microsoft 365 roadmap sometime in the past 30 days. I don't know, to say that they were going to do this unified Teams app.
Mm-hmm.
I assume it's the work and school version, which will then be renamed just to Teams, right?
Yep.
And then the thing you're referencing is the Windows 11, what is it, Canary and Dev builds
Yep.
are going to, this will be one way that this thing gets distributed, which tells me that it is 1998 all over again, baby, because we're bundling with Windows.
So you'll have
And
a Teams consumer app that you can access from inside the Teams work and school app
here's what's amazing to me. So
that anybody
Windows
cares.
10, here's one of the things that's amazing to me. Windows 10 late in the cycle had a kind of a meet now experience that probably debuted during the pandemic, and it was a front end for Skype that appeared in the taskbar or whatever. So when they announced Windows 11, one of the first things in that initial announcement was, new client, like Teams client for consumers, whatever. I don't remember the exact order of things anymore. It may or may not have been included in that first version of Windows 11, but eventually it was there. And then they revved it again
Mm-hmm.
in 23H2. They got rid of, there was a chat icon, remember, but then it went just to a normal Teams icon, which not everyone sees because, everything's stupid. But there is a kind of a front end to it that's sort of like the old chat in Windows 10 / chat, whatever they call these things, meet now in Windows 10 / chat in Windows 11.
Mm-hmm.
And now they're changing it again. this thing no one uses has gotten so much attention. So yeah, I now people will probably use it because it will be the real Teams client. I guess it will
So,
be the.
so here's an interesting kind of sort of thought for you.
Mm-hmm.
Here's an interesting little thought for your brain.
Okay.
I think we can. Someone's going to write and say, "I use it every day with my family." I'm sure there are people who use it, but
I'm not sure. In this case, I'm
eh,
like, I actually don't know that that's true. But go on. I'm sorry.
if you go back to the Windows 11 announcement about all the great things coming to Windows 11, well, Android apps are dead.
Yep.
This Teams app that you can communicate with 1 billion plus people with is it's getting. Look, if you're not on the front porch at this point of Windows, you're kind of on your way out. And so this Teams just got shoved onto the back porch underneath the awning of
Under the van.
yeah.
Mm.
Well,
Look, to me, the central, I'm not going to call it an advantage, although
mm-hmm.
it sort of is. The central point to me of Windows 11 is to make this thing simpler. It's hard to take a battleship worth of functionality and make it look like a little tiki boat or whatever. You lose things. I mean, there's no way
Right.
around it. And hiding features, I don't know. Like there's a rich history of this not working, but I think they've reached the point in Windows today where it's in a pretty good place UI wise. So I mean, Windows 10X mission accomplished. I don't know. I mean, right? But there was some architectural stuff going on in Windows 10X, which we've kind of given up on. I guess it's just
We don't really know. We'll see what happens with this next release, the 24H, whatever, to see if we see more of the 10X pop through, but not expecting it.
Yeah, I mean, I guess the big failing of this UI, so to speak, is that it's skin deep, right? You don't have to go too far in Windows to run into where you're like, oh, that's not the new thing, But I think we just have to accept that that's where, I mean, that's always been, that's Windows, right? It's this archaeological dig of UIs. So
Hmm.
I don't know. I mean, does that warrant the number change? I mean,
Mm-hmm.
no, not really, but I mean, you got to market something. I don't know.
Yeah.
So yeah, Android apps dead. Stupid Teams extra app dead. Good. That was dumb to begin with. Um, I don't know.
Yeah.
It's okay. Why, like honestly, chopping things away at this point is not such a horrible idea.
Well, on that same vein of chopping things away, and I will fully qualify this as self beneficial, but I'm trying not to be arrogant because arrogance usually comes back to bite you in the way of the ass of karma.
Hmm.
So in 24H2, yes, that's the one that's coming in June.
Hmm.
Microsoft in this latest Canary build, we've seen this feature flag come in and out, and this impacts Stardock, which is we pay extreme close attention to this.
Right.
There's a flag called Disable Win 10 Taskbar. It has popped in and out. It is back and it is now on by default, which means if you are running something like Explorer Patcher right now or any of the other apps that re-enable that, your environment is hosed when it boots.
Yeah. And you guys don't do that, right? You
We
don't
don't do
use
that.
the old,
Start 11's
yeah.
fine, but this is more of just a warning. Like, I don't know if Rounded Taskbar does it, but if any of those apps are running on your machine and you install Canary, when you boot up, all you're going to have
Yeah.
is a black screen because the entire shell will not load. So,
Interesting. So obviously, there's a calculus there. I'm sure from Microsoft's perspective, there are people sounding some alarm here. Like, look, it's not about getting rid of third-party utilities, right?
no, it's
It's software we have to support. There might be vulnerabilities associated with it. How many users are actually using utilities that need this thing? Um,
if I had, you know what my guess is, and this is completely founded on some information, but not like actual from Microsoft.
yeah.
I bet that there's something to do with Windows on ARM and the Windows 10 taskbar,
Oh,
and related to this release, which we all know there's more ARM stuff coming with whatever 24H2, and they said, look,
yeah.
if we don't do this for this now or whatever,
We're
it's
never
going to
going to be able
screw
to
up
bite off
ARM or
this thing.
something.
Yeah.
That's my
Well,
guess.
look. This is, I mean, this is maybe the central debate for the platform here. I mean, this is the difference between Apple being very aggressive, getting rid of legacy things, and
Hmm.
Microsoft offering this compatibility story where apps from a million years ago still work, and companies love that. So I I think there's a happy medium to be
Yeah.
had there that doesn't actually exist anywhere in the world, but Microsoft could be more aggressive about getting rid of this stuff. I don't. I'm not talking about any competitive thing with your company
Right,
and
right, right.
other
No, no, it's
products,
more of
whatever.
like if you're in Canary and you boot up today and you have a full black screen and you can't figure out why, I can tell
Well,
you
but
why.
see, to me, this could be on the utility makers. That I mean, is this thing unsupported and not documented, or I mean, is it not guaranteed to be there? What's the
It,
story like?
I cannot imagine that this is a documented supported thing. Like everybody knows it was there because it was just a flag, right? You just go flip
Right.
the flag and like, oh look, there's the Windows 10 taskbar. Like there it is. I sincerely doubt that Microsoft was providing any support
Yep.
or guarantees around running a Windows 10 taskbar on Windows
Yeah.
11.
No, to me, this is very much like the new Outlook versus classic Outlook discussion, where at some point the new thing does everything we ever wanted, and it's time to say goodbye to the old thing,
Right.
And I mean, everyone sort of knows,
Well, here.
the Windows
Oh,
11 taskbar
y-
and start menu
mm,
are brand new code, right?
you know what it might be? I think I've mentioned this on here before.
Hmm.
So some people who are been like, the usual group like the Rafts of the world who are poking around like saying like what's actually happening, like what's new in these builds that Microsoft's not talking about. There's this
Yeah.
new onboarding shell that they keep like finding bits about. The only reason I bring
Oh,
that up is one of the reasons the Windows 10 taskbar was left around is that on the current Windows 11 out of box experience, like that GUI that you click through and you fill out all your stuff,
oh, it's the old.
the
Yeah.
Windows 10 taskbar is running in a hidden state during that.
Right.
And I bet that they are revamping that OOBE and they're like,
They're
look,
going
we
to get
don't
rid of it
need the
from setup.
taskbar anymore. So we're going to rip it out.
They need, I mean, look, they know. I don't know. We don't know. I mean, what
Right.
is the number of people that rely on these things? It's probably relatively small, but it could still be millions.
It could, yeah,
Right.
right. You got to remember, we're talking billions of users. So even if it's a half of a percent, you're still talking hundreds of
Yeah.
thousands, if not millions of people.
This is a great example of where treating the Windows inside a program with respect properly, it would pay off. Because if there was a formal, and there is, but if they followed the formal process for testing software, that you could put this out in Canary very early on and say, look, in 12 months, this is going live. So get ready, you know. The problem with Windows today, of course, is that we could wake up tomorrow and this thing's deployed. You know, so there's no way to.
Yeah, or it's gone.
I mean, it really is that goofy. We're lucky we even saw this in Canary, right? So
yeah, not technically, but we first saw the flag show up. I think November 30th, I want to say, but it wasn't on or anything else like that. But now it's actually on, which means this thing's probably shipping in June, is our guess. Right? It's in Canary.
Really, that quickly?
I don't know. Well, we don't.
Well, we don't know. That's the right. Of course. What am I saying? We have no way of knowing. So yeah, I mean, so you're so these are so it's not just start menu type replacements. It's other things.
It's anything that re-enables the Windows 10 shell or taskbar experience will turn your whole system black.
Yeah. So I mean, even so, I'd have to look at this. I don't have a Canary. Do I? No, I don't have a Canary computer. But you know, even like when you right click the desktop, you know, one of the things you can do is show more options, and it gives you the old Windows 10 style menu. You can I think you can like shift click it too, like shift right click, right?
So my knowledge is not enough to know that if that experience is tapping into that process. But what happens is that explorer.exe gets suspended when you boot because it's in a loop. It's in a crash loop.
Look, I don't know how this works either, but I mean, it's bizarre to me that you can't display all those options using the new style. Why isn't this just a resource of text links?
Right. I mean, there's so,
but that's not how it works, right? So
right.
I don't know. It looks so old fashioned too. It's funny when you look at it. If you get used to Windows 11, Windows 10 seems just out of date.
I don't mind Windows 11. Like I don't mind the UI.
I like it. I actually like it.
Yeah. It's fine.
I like what I mean, this is what is this? It's like a WinUI 3 kind of style. It's more spacing. The fonts are bigger. I'm sure to some people it looks
style. I mean,
I don't know what to call. I know we need a name for it that isn't stupid, but
Fluent maybe.
Anyway, I like it. I'm okay with it.
Okay with you.
Wait, I forgot to complain about anything.